melting snow so you can actually drink something.
Always there.
Their eyes kind of say, I've got you, and they're smiling. Now, who are they? Most people would say Sherpa, like it's a job description, a helper.
Right.
But that, as you'll find out today, might just be the biggest misunderstanding in mountaineering history.
That's a really crucial point to make right at the start.
Yeah.
Because Sherpa, it isn't just a job title. It's a people, a whole vibrant culture,
Right.
with a history that goes back way, way before modern climbing even began.
Ah, okay.
So our mission today in this deep dive is really to pull apart that common idea, that misconception. We want to explore the surprising truth behind the word itself.
Get to the real story.
Exactly. And reveal the untold story that's actually hiding right there in plain sight in so many of those famous summit photos.
And that's precisely what we're aiming for today. This deep dive, it draws on a really fascinating stack of sources, some great insights from Himalayan Pulse, other notes too, all kind of geared to give you a shortcut, a real understanding of these true masters of the mountains.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's unpack this then. To really get the Sherpa people, we need to rewind the clock. Like maybe 600 years?
About that, yeah.
Yeah.
That's when a group migrated out of Tibet from the Kham region. And they crossed some incredibly brutal Himalayan passes to finally settle in these high valleys in Nepal. They actually call themselves Sherpa.
Sherpa.
Yeah, which simply means people of the East. And traditionally their life was farming, herding yaks, that sort of thing. And they practiced Tibetan Buddhism.
Right.
They deeply revere the peaks like Chomolungma, which we know as Everest. They see them as sacred deities.
That ancient history, it feels so important because it connects directly to, the start of modern mountaineering, doesn't it?
Absolutely crucial, because when the British climbers arrived, this was back in the 1920s, they were completely obsessed with conquering Everest.
The big prize.
The ultimate prize. And they realized pretty quickly they desperately needed locals. Not just people who knew the paths, but critically, people who could actually function in the death zone.
That area above 8,000 meters where the oxygen is just barely there.
Exactly. And for decades, the common thought was just, they're just used to it,
Yeah.
Born and raised high up.
But the science adds this whole other layer, something truly remarkable about their physiology. You mentioned research from UC Berkeley.
Yes, that's right. A groundbreaking discovery, really. They identified what you could call a genetic superpower in Sherpas. It's a specific variant of a gene called EPAS1.
EPAS1. Okay, what does that actually do? What's the biological advantage?
Well, it's quite profound. See, at high altitudes, most of our bodies, they kind of panic. They start producing way too many red blood cells.
Thinking more red cells means more oxygen.
That's the flawed logic, yeah.
Yeah.
But it actually makes the blood thicker, much more viscous. And that significantly increases the risk of things like strokes. It's dangerous.
Okay.
But the Sherpa's version of the EPS1 gene, it works differently. It allows our bodies to use the scarce oxygen incredibly efficiently without overproducing red blood cells, so their blood stays thin, flowing optimally.
So it's not just being used to it, it's a fundamental genetic adaptation.
Precisely. It's millennia old. And what's really fascinating, almost mind-blowing, is that this specific genetic trait has been linked back to the Denisovans.
Denisovans, like the extinct human species from tens of thousands of years ago.
The very same. It suggests this adaptation is incredibly ancient. So in a very real sense, they carry this biological legacy. And you could almost say they're like ancient superhumans adapted for the roof of the world.
That is astounding. A biological edge home over millennia. But you mentioned earlier, it's not just about the biology, right? There's more defining their connection to the mountains.
Oh, absolutely. Their spiritual connection is just as fundamental, maybe even more so, than their genetics, in understanding who they are and how they relate to these peaks.
So how does that manifest?
Well, before any major climb, there's a ritual that's completely non-negotiable. It's called the puja ceremony.
Puja, okay.
A Buddhist Lama comes, meticulously builds a stone altar. Juniper's burned. The smoke carries prayers up into the thin air. And critically, all the climbing gear, the ice axes, ropes, crampons, everything gets blessed during this ceremony.
What's the purpose behind that? What does the puja really mean to them before they head up into such danger?
It's about deep reverence. It's fundamentally about asking the mountain gods for permission to climb on their slopes. It's also apologizing for any disturbance they might cause.
An apology to the mountain.
Yes, and praying for safety, not just for themselves, but for everyone on the expedition. It really speaks to this core value they hold called karu.
Karu.
Compassion. It underpins everything. I remember hearing this quote from Karsang Sherpa. He summited Everest 12 times. Incredible man.
12 times. Wow.
Someone asked him if he gets scared up there, and he said something like, "Fear's normal, but the mountain decides. If you go with respect, the Mother Goddess protects you. If you go with ego," he said, "she'll humble you."
That perspective, it's profound. It changes everything.
It really does. It's not just a nice philosophy. It's their operational code on the mountain.
So would you say this deep respect, this karu, this compassion, it shifts their role? They're not just guides carrying bags. They become almost guardians,
Yeah.
holding that sacred space for everyone.
That's a perfect way to put it. Guardianship.
Yeah.
Rooted in a deep spiritual connection. Definitely not just a commercial job.
But then we have to look at the other side, the really grim realities, the heavy, heavy price that gets paid. Because climbing Everest is insanely dangerous.
Yeah.
And the Sherpas, they seem to bear the overwhelming brunt of that danger.
The Khumbu Icefall is probably the most terrifying example. It's this chaotic, constantly moving glacier. Just a maze of towering ice blocks called seracs and deep hidden crevasses. It shifts daily.
A nightmare landscape.
Truly. And think about this. A typical client might need to cross the icefall maybe 4 times during their whole expedition. Up and down a couple of times for acclimatization and the summit push.
Okay, 4 times still sounds terrifying.
But the Sherpas, they might cross it up to 40 times in a single season.
40 times through that shifting maze.
No.
Why? What requires that many crossings?
They're doing all the essential high-risk work first. They're the ones going ahead, fixing the kilometers of ropes that everyone else will clip into. They're laying down the ladders across those gaping crevasses.
Setting the stage for everyone else.
Exactly, and they're endlessly hauling supplies of tents, food, oxygen cylinders, tons of it. Every single one of those 40 trips is a gamble, threading through that dangerous ice.
And the statistics, they reflect that disparity, don't they?
Oh, brutally. Sherpas account for a hugely disproportionate share of the deaths on Everest. Far, far more than the clients they're guiding. Their mortality rate, someone calculated it's higher than even being an infantry soldier in recent wars.
That's staggering. It really puts a human face on the risk, doesn't it?
It absolutely does.
Mm.
We hear about deaths on Everest, but when a Sherpa dies, it's not just a news headline. It's a family devastated. Many are the sole breadwinners.
Right.
They're supporting kids in school,
Yeah.
elderly parents back in the village, often relying entirely on the wages from just those 2 dangerous months of the climbing season.
It's this heartbreaking dilemma. They know the risks intimately. They see friends injured or worse.
Every season.
But they often feel kind of trapped, right? Because the money from one successful Everest season can be, 10 times what they might earn from farming over a whole year?
Or even more. It's a powerful economic pressure alongside the cultural pull towards the mountains.
It's such a heavy reality. But importantly, their story isn't just about this danger or victimhood. It's also one of incredible resilience, isn't it? Innovation, too. They're rewriting their own narrative.
Absolutely. You look back at someone like Tenzing Norgay.
Who summited with Hillary in '53.
Exactly. His achievement, his global recognition, it really sparked something. A catalyst for change, you could say.
And you see that legacy playing out today.
Definitely. Today, Sherpas aren't just working for expedition companies. They own some of the top ones. They're flying the rescue helicopters. They've become doctors, environmental activists, leaders in their communities.
And you have these global icons now, like Nim's Purja with his Project Possible.
Incredible mountaineer.
And Kami Rita Sherpa, who just keeps adding to his record for the most Everest summits ever. It's unbelievable.
They are world-class mountaineers, full stop. Leading expeditions, setting records, not just helpers. That perception needs to shift.
Which brings us back to maybe the listener's role in all this. After hearing everything we've discussed,
Yeah.
what's the takeaway? What's our responsibility, perhaps?
It's actually quite simple, I think. It's just to see them.
See them, meaning
Meaning the next time you look at one of those breathtaking Everest summit photos, don't just see the triumphant client waving a flag.
Yeah.
Actively look for the Sherpa standing beside them.
Often just slightly out of frame or in the background.
Sometimes, yeah. Recognize their presence, understand the culture, the history, the genetic gift, the spiritual depth, and yes, the immense strength and sacrifice that got both of them to that point. Acknowledge that they are, as you said earlier.
The true masters of the mountains.
Exactly.
So we've covered a lot today. It's been quite a journey, hasn't it? From those genetic superpowers enabling life at extreme altitudes.
The EPAS-1
It's to
gene.
the deep spiritual reverence, the puja ceremony, the idea of karu,
Ultimate share value.
and then confronting the harsh realities, the risks, the unseen sacrifices they make season after season, all aimed at helping you truly understand the Sherpa people beyond the label.
And perhaps, as a final thought for you to take away, just consider how many other stories like this exist. How many other unsung heroes are there behind the world's big achievements, the grand narratives we always hear?
That's a powerful point.
What might we learn if we really made the effort to, see their full contributions, understand their complete stories beyond just the headlines or the stereotypes?
Something to definitely think about. Well, that's all we have time for in this deep dive. Until next time, keep listening, keep learning.
And keep respecting those deeper stories.
Thanks so much for listening to Sabine Himalayensis. If you enjoyed it, please like, subscribe, and tap the bell so you never miss an episode. Drop a comment. I'd love to hear what you think or what you'd like next. Until next time, take care and remember, the best stories are yet to be told. See you in the next one. Namaste.